Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 3 billionth episode of the Nerdletter Talk, starring your Boring Enterprise nerds with the incredible Yelena Perfilieva. Thank you. Hello, Yelena.
Everyone.
And myself, Paul Moderman, as your hosts to our crazy inner thoughts on a bunch of random techie slash SAP stuff that's floating around in our brains and that we might write about for our next newsletter. Who knows? We'll see. Um, Yelena, I think it's always great when you kick us off. So if you don't mind, tell us what you're thinking about
Sure. Yeah.
these days.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let me share my stuff. So first off, I'm just coming back from my grand European tour of SAP events. The major one is obviously ABAPconf that just wrapped up on June 4th and 5th. And this time I got a chance finally to visit in person in Vienna and even do a presentation about exciting EWM stuff for ABAP developers. So I'm sure I might I might write about EWM at some point later, but not today. This time, I think I just want to kind of start off with my impressions from like boots on the ground
Mm,
type of, and then just give an overview of what's been happening there, and just highlight some of the sessions that I thought would be just kind of a most important to watch because there was what like four locations, full day of sessions. It's quite a bit to consume. And as we were, so when we were on location Vienna, the day went like we watched the keynote, which was streamed from another location. So that was common for everyone. And then we would go and just do our location presentations. But if anyone wanted to watch alternative locations, they would go into another room where others were streaming. So people could
mm.
get a good coverage this way. But honestly, I felt that everything that was presented in Vienna, it was really, really good. So I will maybe just start with those and then we'll try to watch more of the presentations from other location. But in general, if you're a ABAP developer, you definitely need to go and watch at least as much of ABAPconf as you can because it's directly relevant and very current to all the
Yeah.
developers these days. And this is as I say, by developers for developers. So honestly, that's kind of best kind of bang for your buck in terms of education and entertainment.
I
All
just want
right.
to,
Yeah.
I just want
Yeah.
to say too, like, ABAPconf is just good quality shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, because I've been to Tech Ed, especially because there was a couple of years where Tech Ed was ostensibly like, they even branded it like a developer really focused thing for a couple of years
Yeah.
there. And like as a developer, I was like, oh, cool, all right. But like none of it was like as just highly concentrated, like
Yeah.
turbo nitrous oxide, like ABAP Conf is. Like
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
People go watch the videos. It's so good.
Yeah.
There
And
we
there
go.
is, yeah, they have
Plug
a
over.
YouTube channel, so everything will be here. I think. So again, event just wrapped up. So organizers also have full-time jobs, so they have lots of stuff to do. There isn't really like a full-time staff behind this event. It's purely ran by a group of enthusiasts with some sponsorship from a few companies. But overall, again, it's just a community organized. So please bear with us. I think that later on they will probably kind of parse maybe out those into smaller videos and maybe just
Mm,
mark where everything started. But right now
mm.
it's already out there available, so you can go ahead and watch if you like. And it's funny that you mentioned about developer events. We usually go to events like TechEd or ASAC Tech Connect here, which are not just for developers. So I used to just going in and into some kind of room and meeting people, and the first question usually asked like, "What do you do?" Because in SAP there could be functional people,
Oh yeah.
architects, but
Yeah.
but there I like my first thought like, "Well, what do you do?" But then I mean, duh.
We all know.
What, I mean,
But
what
this
else?
one,
It's a sub of conference, so I can stop asking this question.
this one is more like, if you don't do ABAP, what the hell are you
Yeah, like
doing?
what the hell are you doing here? Like, yeah, I would be super surprised. So yeah, so I kind of I had to very quickly rethink my introduction routine. So funny stuff. All right,
Funny.
so my second subject is right now loosely framed as the scale. So it was slightly triggered by this post, which honestly has nothing to do with SAP. It's about scaling for like company and how
Yeah.
scaling is kind of dangerous, etc. But it kind of made me remember about the presentations that I did in my kids' school, high school, about what the heck is SAP, what is ERP, and I concluded this with saying that if they take away the one most important thing, it would be scale, because it's always, shit and giggles when it's small, but when you need to scale something, it's always totally different thing. And
Yep.
it's again,
Yep.
it's not really just SAP issue. It's even like in baking, because the recipe apparently it's not just multiplication, because for example some reactive chemicals like baking powder or something, when you scale recipe up you need to adjust your proportions. So it's
Mm,
not like you just take like small recipe multiply, or you take huge recipe and you just divide.
mm,
You actually need to make adjustments as you scale up or
mm.
down. So I have some observations along those lines in my head, and I will try to put them into something kind of, I don't know, cohesive. So hopefully, and the third one, I'm just gonna. Oh, actually, I'm just can just stop sharing for this one. So third one, I don't really have like any link or anything to share right now, but I was looking at the several posts, either on Reddit or on LinkedIn or on other places, where people are asking, well, help me prep for an interview, or they're like, oh, I'm thinking about, like, I'm a beginner, I'm thinking about taking this job, and like, how do I prep? And to me,
Mm.
it's a bit strange question, because I mean, if you have some work experience, why would you need some kind of prep for an interview? Because interview shouldn't be a quiz.
Yeah.
It should be just kind of conversation about your
Yeah.
skills. So you just prepare to just read over your resume, remember what the heck you wrote there, and just prepare some sales speech about yourself, and that's
Yep.
it. But apparently it's not the case for some people, and also for beginners. I'm also kind of curious what type of interviews people experience, because if I was clearly beginner at something, let's say I just graduated university and I have clearly no work experience other than maybe
Mm.
some internship or like McDonald's, and then the company that plans to hire me, they should know this. So going into interview, why would they expect some kind of mad SAP knowledge from me already, when clearly I'm there to learn, so I'm kind of eager to be there, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I know, just kind of general, I guess, thoughts about maybe starting new jobs, specifically in SAP. So again, I have like very, very loose subjects this time.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great subject though, because like starting a new job of any kind,
Mm,
I mean, SAP or otherwise, is just more important than it used to be in the world,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
People change their jobs more often than they
Yeah.
used to. And
Yeah.
it's just like it's almost like that's a muscle you have to flex too. I randomly had to do a CV for some reason recently, and I was like, "Oh man, I've had more jobs than I remember having a little bit, you know?"
Yeah.
But none of it felt like, "Oh, I've been skipping around too much." It's just more like the natural flow. Like my first job, I got back in 2006, my first
Mm,
professional job. And like even back then, I thought, oh, well, I'm going to work at this job for like 30 years or 20 years. Or
mm,
just kind of how my brain worked. And then looking back on it, I'm like, what a dumb kid to think that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but it just like
Yeah.
that changes your that world change also means you need to like flex that muscle a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, back in the days, it was more common. People would
Yeah.
start jobs. Like my grandma worked at the same factory till she retired, like her
Mm,
her whole career almost.
yeah.
And the same for my dad as well. So yeah. All right. So that's these are my three stories.
Off to
And
me.
yeah, over to you, Paul.
Okay. So I saw this post pop up on LinkedIn and
Mm.
it's about Joule for consultants.
Oh dear.
And this is one of those things where like I still haven't been able to get a good like deep handle on
Mm-hmm.
how it actually performs or actually it's like
Mm.
truly what all the pieces actually look like. But this person, Karsten Cutter, clearly has had some more knowledge of it than I have had.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of pieces here that are like interesting to think about, but that's also just interesting to think about in terms of the long tail of it, right? Because in the
Mm-hmm.
SAP world, a lot of people are consultants. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people who do this professionally do it consulting wise professionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so SAP having an offering with consultants in the name of the offering, like you have to think about that in terms of your own planning of your career, your path, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just highlight a couple of things I saw. I didn't know this, but apparently the price tag is 70 times some other Joule things,
Mm-hmm.
4.5 times for some premium SCM things. It's a way more. I mean, this should be a no-brainer. It's way more than most of your like
Mm.
consumerish
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
AI stuff. That
Yeah.
shouldn't be any surprise.
Yeah.
But it's even more expensive than the OpenAI Pro subscription, which is $200 a month.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still it's I don't know. Carson didn't put a number here, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm looking
I
at it. It's
don't
like
know what it is, but
it's
I know that it's at least hundreds and probably thousands of dollars a month for this Joule for consultants.
yeah.
And so like there's going to be some pretty I think there's going to be some pretty hefty scrutiny of how it performs given that price point and given what people have kind of come to expect out of sort of the general like your ChatGPT or your Claude stuff, just in general, like
Mm-hmm.
how does this play with that stuff? Because there's a few things here that to note now. So, for example, if you use ChatGPT deep research, which can include it will like work for like 10, 15 minutes and it will search the web and search and gather sources and consider those sources. I mean, SAP notes are behind an SAP login wall,
Mm-hmm.
right? So OpenAI's or any company's like general purpose deep research can't read those to consider. And like if you have a question about
Yeah.
like does this thing fit to standard or something like that, you may not be able to find the answer that you were hoping for unless you're using the SAP thing. And I'm kind of half and half on like whether I like that or not. I don't know. Um, Part of me just is like, why don't you just open the doors so that people can index the notes and Google search? Like I
Yeah.
hate the SAP search for
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like just open the door. Like I don't think it's affecting your sales to make your notes available for the world to index in their stuff. Like I would think you actually want that so it's easier to work with your products and make it go. But whatever. Make your
Yeah.
money however you want to make it, I guess. If you invest the time to create them, then try to reap the reward. I guess, sure. Um, but I still don't like it. Um, uh, Another thing here, skipping down to the developers, the Joule for developers, which I also don't know the price of,
Yeah.
is 1/7 of the cost of Joule for consultants.
Hmm.
Karsten, if you're watching this, which I doubt, just given numbers, but maybe,
Yeah.
somebody tell us the numbers. What are the numbers here?
Yeah.
I
This
would really love to know that.
yeah, this looks like, the Costco ads like, oh,
Yeah.
discount is like $5, but like from what? Like
From
from
what?
100,
Yeah.
from 20? Like, is this a good? I have no, just give us a price, bro. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've already seen this. The final question that he asks in the
Mm-hmm.
post is
Mm-hmm.
make or buy, right?
Yeah.
And I've already seen, I mean, many both companies and consulting agencies and product
Oh
companies or
yeah.
whatever are
Yeah.
like making their own solutions
Mm-hmm.
more or less like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to see competition for it because like I don't want to just have it, I don't know, just chokeholded by SAP itself
Mm.
with this stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but who knows? So that's the one thing I want to try to find more information about that. Maybe the deep research can help find the price for me. I don't know. Um,
I think it's more difficult to open
Probably,
SAP notes,
yeah,
yeah, finding any prices
yeah.
in the SAP world. But by
So
by
who
the
knows?
way, so while we're on the subject, there was
Yeah.
also a post on LinkedIn I saw today that SAP added Joule to that API hub, which now goes by some kind of wacky different name, but it's still
Mm.
like api.sap.com. So I tried this just right after that, and honestly, I just found it so utterly useless. And I don't want yet to jump on it. And yeah, you need to log in first, then it appears. So yeah, in upper right corner, hit login with
Oh,
something.
okay.
It worked for me with like PID. Um, yeah, usual
I'm probably gonna
universal
forget my
stuff.
password. I
Yeah.
can't remember if I'm logged in on this browser or not, but yeah. Yeah, okay. My password manager for SAP stuff is not in
Yeah.
this browser, so
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
it is there, but I just tried it with a few queries to which I actually knew the answer already, and the result was just deeply disappointing. But again, I don't want to jump to conclusion like boo,
Yeah,
Joule
yeah, yeah,
sucks
yeah.
just based on one very short interaction. But at the same time, it doesn't sound promising because it's saying like, oh, yeah, like advantage, like it trained on SAP documents and notes, and I mean if you have SAD, you can access SAP notes and everyone can access like SAP help. How has that been working out for everyone? Like, have you guys been able to find great information in SAP help? That's why we have SAP Press. They have not gone out
Yeah.
of business for I don't know how many decades. So
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think maybe training Joule on SAP stuff isn't really as grand as someone makes it believe. Pardon me for being skeptical, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's funny.
great subject.
And so this is one. I have I have three other kind of smaller ones, and I don't know what they'll be, so I'll just kind of
Mm,
talk through
mm-hmm.
the other smaller ones. One of them is, and I don't think I want to do this one because it's AI again, so I don't know. But
Uh,
the only thing I do want to note about this news release from a couple days ago is that, like, if you read this first sentence, like, tell me that is not a freaking AI written sentence right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Come on. In an era
mm,
where X does blah, enterprises face new blah, that's like that there you could not have a more clear AI written thing. So like Philip Herzig, if you're watching this, which I completely doubt, I'm sure no C levels at SAP ever see our videos, but like whoever's writing this for you should take a minute and strip out the AI gunk. That's all. That's
yeah,
just whatever.
yeah.
So okay, so I'll
It's
close these
like
off because
in this unprecedented times
just
and blah blah
ugh.
blah.
So the other things I've been thinking
Mm,
about, one of them is in a couple of S4 projects that I've been either working with or working adjacent to or whatever, it has become clear to me that like one of the biggest liabilities is not having your shit together with data.
mm,
Data
yeah,
migration, planning for your new config data, all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. Like, I go look at the defects that happen for whichever, I can't say who, right? But like
Mm-hmm.
whatever company. And like, even some brief analysis of that stuff goes like, the answer here is obviously that you don't know what your data should look like.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're spending so much time fighting a thing that you just need to like you need to take the time to have the answer to what should my data look like?
Mm,
Like my master data, my
mm-hmm.
Z table data, whatever the case may be, whatever I'm migrating from my old version, whatever that might be, to my new S4 thing, what should it look like down to the record level? What should it look like?
Mm,
Because like so many people, like big testing teams or whatever, get in there and then it like you become it becomes this game of like one-off whack-a-mole
mm,
when it should be like you should clearly know what it should be, and if it's not that thing, whatever it is, isn't what it should be, fix the golden template first before you fix the one thing.
mm.
Because you're going to go fix the one thing and not fix the golden template, and then in your next phase of testing, it's going to be broken
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like I have a something of a screed in my head about like because I mean people have been saying like you need to have data ready for AI stuff and like I don't know whatever like that's one thing together and whatever. But like I think the problem is actually like who cares about AI? Just have your data shit together
Yeah. Yeah,
regardless,
exactly.
right? Like
Yeah.
you are causing yourself so much hurt and hassle and heartache and headache by just not you just need to know what you're gonna have, and if you don't know what the thing is supposed to look like as you enter your testing cycles, you're not ready.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just the way it is. So like I have somewhere in my head is a floating rant about that. But counter to that, and my last thing that I'm thinking about doing is that like I feel like I feel like I have also floating in my head like a bunch of reasons to feel really positive about the future
Mm.
and about what's going to happen. And I'm again, I know I'm Mr. AI guy, but I'm not even talking about AI here. I'm just talking about like just everything in terms of tech, in terms of enterprise software, whatever. Like so many positive things are sitting in my head about the cool things that we can get up to, the cool things that we can work on, the cool things that we can like if we're gonna have to spend 8 hours of our day doing work, it
Mm.
might as well be some of these interesting things that are gonna happen anyway. So like I just feel like there's a lot of reasons to be hopeful and positive about the future. And I want to maybe write those down and share them because I think I have veered a little bit more pessimistic than my usual self has been lately, and I feel like I need to balance that a little bit just because it maybe doesn't represent my full feeling about stuff, right?
Mm.
So there's something there. But again, this is very loosely formed, so anybody watching this should not that you hang your hopes on this video anyway, but anybody watching this should not expect this to necessarily be part of what goes out there. But I feel it inside my soul somewhere that there's a happy post in here somewhere for our next issue about these things.
Well, as I
But
say,
that's my things.
yeah, pessimist is just well-informed, other way, well-informed optimist. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's that's a thing.
So there's
Okay.
guys, there's our thoughts for what we're gonna write about. That's our nerd letter talk. Please, as always, like, comment, subscribe, share, yell at us, complain, write angry posts on Blue Sky or LinkedIn or whatever about us. That's fine. It would actually be really fun to have like a crew of haters who like just hated on our stuff too.
Boo. Oh, there is no
Maybe,
there is no bad publicity.
yeah,
That's
right. Maybe we're not doing enough that we should inspire haters
no,
somewhere.
no.
Maybe that should be our next
We should
goal.
post some, yeah, some bad stuff. So yeah,
But anyway,
start
thanks for watching,
insulting people.
guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.